we told you earlier, Delegate Chris Saxman announced today he will not run for re-election in November. The Republican represents the 20th District of the Virginia House of Delegates. Saxman was elected in 2001 and has served 4 terms in the House. Now, his district consists of all of Highland County, part of Augusta County, all of the city of Stanton, and part of Rockingham County. His opponent is Democrat Eric Curran. The announcement leaves Republicans scrambling to decide who to run for Saxman's seat. And joining us now to discuss the race is JMU political analyst Dr. Bob Roberts. Thanks for being here.
Glad to be here.
Now, your reaction to Saxman's announcement?
It's interesting. I think it's not as surprising as we would think, because he's had higher political ambitions. He's been thinking about running for other offices, and he's pretty well deadlocked where he is. Bob Goodlatte doesn't look like he's going to retire, their statewide races are taken. There's one race that the Republicans badly need to have some young, bright candidates ready for in 2012. That's to go after Senator Webb. So I suspect that's one of the races he may be looking at, and he needs to get some more statewide recognition and national recognition if he's going to have any chance at that.
How does he do that, though, not holding an elective office?
You can do it by going and work for some interest groups. If he's in Northern Virginia working for some major interest groups, they can get him on the networks, they can get him on the Foxes, they can get him well known fairly quickly. So in a sense, he needs to get out of this area into the more of the national media spotlight.
And is that something that maybe the Republican Party of Virginia would...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's all part of a grand plan, you're thinking?
I think that could be. Oh, I think we're only speculating, but you look down the road in 2012, who they have to run against Webb, and there aren't a lot of Republicans out there who are young and vibrant and interesting and who've done very well, and that's one of the possibilities that he might be able to look down the road to.
Okay. This, though, why would, I guess my question is, what does this mean for Republicans? Because if you're planning that, I mean, here we are in July, it doesn't seem like the best timing.
Not necessarily. I think that they think that's a safe district. And they think that only Democrats to win that district was Mark Warner, who beat James Gilmore in the Senate race. That's gone Republican heavily. And therefore, they think they have a candidate already who can hold that seat, and therefore, I don't think they're particularly worried about it.
So you're saying they have a candidate already who, I mean, there's published reports that
yes.
It looks like Dickie Bell, a Stanton City Council member,
right.
is... Well, we've talked to him today, and he said that he heard that he was being
right.
mentioned, and that if he was selected, he would accept.
Right.
Do you know any more than...
I've heard that it's a done deal.
Really?
Yeah, that's a done deal, that there isn't any opposition to him, and therefore that he'll get it tomorrow.
Okay.
I may be wrong, but that's what my sources are telling me.
That's what your sources are telling you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what does this mean for Eric Curran, the Democrat?
It's an open seat, but the problem Curran has, he has no money. He only has $4,000 in his account. The Democratic Party hasn't put a lot of money into his account, and therefore they're going to have to commit a lot of resources. And then Curran needs an issue. In other words, he needs an issue to say he can serve the residents of the district better than Bell can serve them. So in a sense, that's what we're having to look for in terms of whether the Democrats decide to make this a contested race.
All right. The 20th District, something that you're saying the Republicans can usually count on.
Yeah.
Are there issues that may pop up?
I think the issue here is going to be who's better to serve. It's an open seat. Who's in a better position to serve the citizens? In other words, Mr. Bell is a full-time teacher at a Augusta County high school. While he lives in Stanton, he's a full-time teacher. In other words, how would you be a full-time teacher and at the same time serve in the legislature when school's in session? That's a very difficult issue to deal with. In other words, would he retire? And if he's not going to retire, how does he teach?
Do they get a sub for 6 weeks?
I don't know.
Remember Delegate Phoebe Orbaugh? She was a teacher, right?
Paul Klein in my department was in the State House of Delegates for 2 years, and he taught classes at the end of the semester, accelerated classes. So those are the issues that come up. Who's better to serve the citizens?
Well, we'll see as it develops and what happens tomorrow.
Right.
JMU political analyst Bob Roberts, thanks for joining
Glad
us.
to be here.
Now let's send it back to Mel.